What is up guys, it's your boy Solam here, back with another Dragonflight Professions overview video. So we recently made a video on skinning for Dragonflight where we covered all that you want to know about skinning, how you can use skinning, and a deep dive into different specializations within skinning. Today we're doing the same thing but with herbalism this time around. So welcome to our Herbalism Dragonflight Guide. This video will be mostly specific to gold making, but we're doing a deep dive into the specializations that will be important for you either way, no matter how you're planning to use herbalism. So yeah, today we're checking out herbalism. Let's dive right into it right here. So going to the professions tab right here, you can see right now we have one skill with herbalism. So we'll take a look at what that looks like. So here you can see the only thing we have right now is the Hoken Bloom, we have Dream Bloom, and the Infused Pollen as well, based on the appendix and Boundless Knowledge. So basically a rare flower that blooms petal by petal can be found growing alongside the other herbs of the Dragon Isles. While it doesn't have many properties that would make it directly useful for other professions, taking a moment to study it will help you learn more about the local flora, granting further knowledge towards your herbalist specializations. So basically you can find this one while you're herbing around, and you can use this one to increase your knowledge. Same thing goes for Infused Pollen as well. This one, as the elemental energies of the Dragon Isles awaken, they tether themselves to materials of all sorts. Diligent herbalists may find samples of pollen that have been bound with these energies. While it could be dangerous to disturb it, you gain knowledge by studying such a rare phenomenon. So basically these two right here will give you knowledge to herbalism. So basically to skill up herbalism, all you have to do is fly around to gather herbs, and then to gain knowledge points you can both do a quest in Valdrakken, and you can also just farm herbs the regular way and get knowledge by doing that as well. So right now we have one skill. We can see right here that our skill is 1. We have 0% finesse, 0% deftness, and 0% perception. If you didn't watch our skinning profession guide, then finesse, deftness, and perception are new stats tied to professions that give you different bonuses based on what they are. So basically finesse will give you a chance to gather more of the primary reagent found while you're herbing around. So basically finesse gives you a chance to gather more materials, deftness increases your gathering speed, and perception increases your chance to find rare materials while you're farming. For herbalism specifically, this gives you a chance to find more rare materials from herbalism, and finesse gives you more herbs while you're just flying around and farming as well. So now let's skill ourselves up to 100 skill and check out what that looks like as well. So here we go, we can just use an item on the beta to set the skill to 100 and see if that changes anything whatsoever for herbalism. So right now we can see we have 100 skill. This changes basically nothing, but we can start finding more herbs in different zones. So we don't just have the Hoken Bloom, but this is the one that we have in section 1 so far. Okay, so now you have reached maximum skill in Dragon Isles Herbalism and you're ready to start speccing into different specializations for Herbalism. So here we go, let's take a look at the different specializations and what bonuses you get from every single one. This is good to know before the expansion comes out, just so you can actually know which specialization that you want to go for based on your specific playstyle. So let's start with the Bountiful Harvests right here. This one will improve your general harvesting skills, gaining +1 skill per point in the specialization while gathering herbs. Also, you get +5 skill at the first point you pick, so you get +5 skill and then +1 skill for every single point you have here afterwards. Once again, every single point will require 1 knowledge, which you can gain from doing quests from your profession trainers in Valdrakken, or simply by farming herbs as well. Based on my testing so far on the beta, if you're farming herbs in the open world, you can expect to get like 5 to 6 ranks every single hour. So if you want to do the entire thing, you might have to farm for 100 hours, but you might also get them faster on the live version than the beta version. So here we go, if you choose this one right here, you will get to learn a subspec of your choice. So you have subspecs right here in the horticulture that we'll take a look at afterwards. I'm just going to show you all the bonuses right here. So you can learn another subspec, you get +10 finesse, you get another subspec once again, you learn how to refine herbs, and learn another subspec right here, +10 perception, final subspec, and here you can learn to refine herbs as well. So basically here you learn to refine herbs into silver, or you can refine them from tier 1 to tier 2, and all the way down here you can refine them from tier 2 to tier 3. If we go back to our skinning video, we can actually assume this will take 5 of each herb, so going from tier 1 to tier 2, you will refine 5 tier 1 items, tier 1 herbs into 1 tier 2 herb, and you can refine 5 tier 2 herbs into 1 tier 3 herb. Okay, let's look at the actual subspecs here. So this one, for example, you have a chance to gather additional saxifrage while you're farming those, and you get +1 skill per point in the specialization while you're gathering it. So this one gives you more skill while you're gathering specifically saxifrage. So here we go, you can get more saxifrage and you get more skills while gathering. And once again, upon the first one, you have a chance to gather additional saxifrage once again, +10 deftness while you're gathering once again, herbs in general, and +5 skill while gathering saxifrage, +10 perception, and all the way here, your finesse has a chance to yield additional saxifrage. So you're basically deep specking into saxifrage right here, +10 finesse, +5 skill, +15 deftness, and at the end +10 skill. So more saxifrage and more quality saxifrage as well. And the same thing goes here. So here we have the fungi culture. Study how to handle the delicate bubble poppy, gaining +1 skill per point in the specialization while gathering it. Also, you have a chance to gather additional bubble poppy. So here we go, the exact same thing once again, chance to gather additional bubble poppy, +10 finesse, +5 skill, +10 deftness, and your finesse has a chance to yield additional bubble poppy, +10 perception, +5 skill, +15 finesse, and +10 skill. The same thing goes right here for wither barks. I'm not going to show you the entire thing and talk about it, but it's basically the same thing for wither bark as well this time around. So you can basically specialize into one specific type of herb, which gives you a huge advantage by checking out which herbs are used in which crafts and specializing into that one. And based on my knowledge so far, the bubble poppy looks really good so far, but you can actually spec into all of them. You don't have to choose one, but you have to choose one to go for first, and then you can go for all of them. Alternatively, you can put 1 point into every single one of them, but you also have to remember that you have to have enough knowledge into the first one to unlock every single subspec. So for example, upon having this one, you get 1 subspec. Here, at 15 points, you have 2 subspecs. So 5 points, you can, for example, put 1 point into saxifrage. At 15 points, you can put 1 point into bubble poppy. And that way, you will always gain additional herbs all the time from all of them, instead of specializing deep into one of them. So it's a very, very complicated system, but it's actually really simple when you look at it. But it gives you a lot more stuff to do with your professions. So this one right here has the same thing, but for Hoke and Bloom this time around. So the exact same thing, once again, you have +1 skill while gathering Hoke and Bloom, and you have a chance to gather additional Hoke and Bloom, and the same thing once again all the way around the wheel. So let's look at Botany. This one is a bit more interesting in my opinion. This one right here is kind of like you have 5 different trees to spec into, so it's a lot of stuff to do here, but it's only going to give you additional stuff. So let's look at Botany. So for this one right here, study effective gathering methods and techniques for the plants of the Dragon Isles, gaining +1 finesse per point in the specialization while gathering herbs. It also gives you +15 deftness while you're gathering herbs as well. Now at this point in the video, if you're still watching, you are 8.5 minutes into a Solheim deep dive Dragonflight Professions video, and I do want to let you know that we have found even more herbalism gold farms in our Dragonflight Gold Guide, which has just been released publicly, by the way. So if you want to check that one out, you can check it out through the link down below. This one contains over 40 different Dragonflight gold farms, some of which it's crucial for you to know about before the expansion comes out, because they will be insanely profitable on day 1, and they will start going down in value every single day after day 1. Some of them uses day 1 launch mechanics as well, so you have to know about them for day 1 to actually take full advantage of them. But we have found so many different gold farms, it's going to be an absolutely insane expansion, and if you want to check it out, you can do so through the link down below. Okay, so now let's check out Botany. So for this one right here, once again, you get +15 deftness upon the first skill, you get +10 deftness as well, learn a subspec, +10 perception, +15 finesse, +10 finesse, learn the final subspec, then +15 deftness, and at the end right here, your mastery of of Botany is such that you can gather herbs while mounted in the Dragon Isles. This one could be massive, especially with dragon riding. It allows you to gather herbs while mounted without having to dismount, so you can actually disregard combat and everything, just fly down, gather the herb, fly back up again. And your botanical mastery also helps you locate hidden rarities, gaining plus 15 perception while gathering herbs. Next up then, cultivation. Your new knowledge of cultivation techniques allows you to gather seeds more often than before while gathering herbs. So yeah, this is something they're bringing back from Legion, and you can now gather seeds while you're actually farming for herbs, and you can use these seeds to give you even more herbalism rewards. So by speccing into Botany and further down into cultivation, you get even more seeds as well, and this could be really important for the expansion itself and for the long-term health of herbalism. This could be massive. We had seed raiding back in Legion, where basically you farmed a bunch of seeds, you joined a seed raid for up to 10 people, and you all basically planted your seeds and everyone could gather that seed, which was absolutely massive back then, and I do hope it's the same this time around, but time will have to show. So for this one, once again, plus 10 perception, and you get to gather more seeds. So here we go, the first one gives you more seeds, plus 10 perception. You are now able to retrieve propagating seeds sometimes while gathering herbs, so even once again, more seeds as well, plus 10 finesse. You are now able to retrieve decayed seeds as well, sometimes while gathering herbs. This one could give you the awakened or rotting decay, for example, plus 10 deftness. You are now able to retrieve agitated seeds sometimes while gathering herbs, plus 15 perception, and at the end right here, your advanced knowledge of cultivation has honed you, allowing you to find seeds more often than before while gathering herbs. So you get more seeds than before, plus you get you get 3 different types of seeds that are exclusive to this exact specialization, which is kind of awesome if you ask me. So for this one right here, you get plus 1 deftness per point, and you learn how to use your tools on plant creatures, gaining the ability to get useful herbs and items from them. You can think of this like lasher farming back in Classic WoW, or Rat Classic as well, where you can actually farm mobs in the open world, and as long as they are plant-like creatures, you can gather them for herbalism rewards. They're bringing this back through the Botany spec and through the conversants, yeah, there we go. So once again, right here, you learn to use your tools on plant creatures, plus 10 finesse, plus 10 skill, plus 15 deftness, and the plant creatures of the Dragon Isles sometimes absorb the elements of the land, and when gathering from these creatures, you have a chance to gather these elements from them. This will give you roused elements, and also maybe awakened elements as well, basically the Eternals of Dragonflight, so you're getting elements while you're gathering these mobs, plus 10 perception, plus 10 skill, plus 15 finesse, and all the way down here, your knowledge or your domain knowledge reaches new heights and you gain plus 25 skill while gathering lush herbs. Lush herbs is a special type of herb found in the Dragon Isles that will give you, well, different types of herbs around the place. So mastering the elements, this one is kind of cool. So upon this one, mastering the elements, you will get 1 skill per point in the specialization while gathering elementally charged herbs. So you will find overload elemental herb, an ability. You learn how to overload an elemental herb, an ability that allows you to channel energy into elementally charged herbs for unique bonuses and effects. So basically throughout the Dragon Isles you will find different types of herbs. One of them is an elemental herb, or elementally charged herb, that will give you elementals when you're gathering the herb. So by doing this one you will get plus 1 skill while gathering these, giving you more quantity and more quality of these elementals and the herbs as well. So this specialization is very much like the first one, but focusing on the elements of the area. So for example, all the way down here, you will learn how to channel even more elements into these elemental herbs, and you get a subspec, you get plus 10 deftness, learn another subspec, plus 5 skill, learn the last subspec, plus 10 deftness. Actually, this one is the final subspec because you have 4 of them, and at the end you will gather twice as much, or you'll basically gather more elemental essence from elementally charged herbs. I will show you the vendor just a second to show you which type of elements you can be looking for. But here we go. So upon here, you can charge more into different types of herbs and get more specific types of elements. So all the way down here, your knowledge of decayed herbs allows you to properly prepare, reducing the negative effects you suffer while afflicted with decay. So when you're gathering elemental herbs in Dragon Isles, you basically get a debuff or some kind of effect around in the area, one of which I can mention right now. If you find a herb that will give you a frost elemental, then it will place a frost area on the ground, slowing you down and sometimes freezing you as well. So even though you're getting some elements from the herbs, there's some negative effects as well, and by speccing into mastering the elements, you will reduce these negative effects and increase the materials you get. So for example, for this one, the decayed spec, this one, your knowledge of decayed herbs allows you to properly prepare, reducing the negative effects you suffer while afflicted with decay. You get plus 15 finesse while gathering decayed herbs, you get plus 5 skill while gathering decayed herbs, you get plus 15 perception, and the amount of overload cooldown refunded by gathering herbs is increased by a small amount. So basically, the cooldown on your main ability in this talent tree is reduced every single time you gather something. You also get plus 15 finesse, plus 5 skill, plus 15 perception, and the last point, which you get by having 40 points right here. When affected by decay, dealing damage has a chance to apply a damaging affliction to your target that also slows their casting, attack, and movement speed for a short time. The next one then, Titan Touched. For this one, your knowledge of Titan Touched herbs allows you to truly embrace the flashes of enlightenment that they grant, increasing the duration of the enlightenment buff. So basically, you will find some Titan Touched herbs all throughout the Dragon Isles, and by having the specialization right here, you will get more skill, finesse, and perception while gathering these, as well as the enlightenment buff lasting for a longer time. So here we go, plus 15 finesse, plus 5 skill, plus 15 perception, and once again, the amount of cooldown on the overload ability is refunded. By gathering herbs is increased by a small amount. You get plus 15 finesse, plus 5 skill, plus 15 perception, and the last one, Arcane Gate, will now stay open for a short time after passing through them, allowing you to return to them. Next to last then, Frigid. This is the one that I just talked about. Specialize in frigid herbs, getting plus 1 skill point per point in the specialization while gathering them. Your knowledge of frigid herbs allows you to properly prepare, causing you to no longer slip and fall while gathering near them. This is a frozen herb that will basically slip and fall you, stun you, freeze you, and slow you down, so by having this specialization right here, you can gather those without a negative effect. You also get plus 15 finesse, plus 5 skill, plus 15 perception, and once again the amount of overload cooldown refunded by gathering herbs is increased by a small amount, plus 15 finesse, plus 5 skill, plus 15 perception, and the last one, overloading frigid herbs causes the frost to form a protective layer around you, freezing targets for a short time while the first time they attack you. For a short while the first time they attack you, there we go. Okay, last one then, Windswept. This is the last type of kind of elementally type of herb you will find throughout the place. This one will give you rousing air, for example, and your knowledge of Windswept herbs allows you to properly prepare, reducing the amount they push you back by 50%. This one can actually be lethal if you find, for example, a herb in the middle of the, let's say you are in the middle of a mountain, you have to position yourself so it knocks you back into the wall instead of knocking you over the edge. If it knocks you over the edge and you're not playing a druid, then it can be actually fatal for you. But yeah, this one is kind of unique, kind of interesting, and I do love the herbalism system in Dragon Isles. So here we go, this one will reduce the amount of pushback you get from gathering those, and you get once again plus 15 finesse, plus 5 skill, plus 15 perception, and you get a cooldown reduction, or cooldown refunded, plus 15 finesse, plus 5 skill, plus 15 perception, and the last one, Windswept Herbs, grants you slow fall the next time you fall further than 40 yards. So by fully specializing into this one, it's no longer going to be lethal to gather these on the edge of a map or on the edge of a cliff. It's going to work out just fine. Okay, that is basically all of the deep dive into the masteries and the specializations for herbalism. So now we can see that at the end, if you apply everything right here, it will cost you 40 in knowledge for every single one if you want to fully specialize into them. And you have 5 trees right here, which will cost you 200 knowledge points. You also have 5 trees over here, so 200 more talent points or knowledge points. And all the way in Botany, you have 3 more, which gives you 120 knowledge points. So to learn everything inside Herbalism, you will need 520 knowledge points. So let's say you get 5 per hour while you're farming in the open world by getting those types of herbs that increase your skill by 1. Well, that will take you 100 hours of herbalism to max this one out if you get 5 per hour or 5.2 per hour, but you can also get them by doing quests in Valdrakken offered by your trainer, but I do think you will get more of them just by flying around farming herbalism, and if you want to farm a lot then you will start skilling up very fast, but it's still worth knowing which one to go for early on as well. So for example, if you want to farm as much as possible and you want to get seeds, then you know what to go for, botany and cultivation if you want to go for seeds, and also for example conversions if you want to farm mobs in the open world and gather those as herbalism as well. I do think personally the route I'm going to go for is botany and get some specs into botany, and then get into cultivation to get more seeds, and then I'll go into bountiful harvests, because even though mastering the elements is useful, I don't think the negative effects are that big, but you can actually overload the elemental herbs, giving you more elementals from that as well. But personally, the choice that I'm going with is going into botany and then cultivation, and then I'm going for at least 1 point into every single one of these, just to make sure that I can get additional herbs while gathering those as well. So upon getting 1 point into floriculture, I get additional saxifrage. Here I get additional bubble poppy. So basically, by having all 4 of these, I will get additional herbs while I'm flying around, which I do think is going to be very important. But yeah, let me know which route you're going for in the comment section down below. If you made it till the end, please let me know in the comment section down below as well. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like on it and subscribe for more Dragonflight content. We have a lot of Dragonflight content planned coming out later as well, going through all the professions like this and also doing some gold farms before the expansion comes out. Once again, we also have the Dragonflight Gold Guide, which you can check out through the link down below. And that is basically it though, that is the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. Once again, if you did, leave a like down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Peace out, guys.